Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. So we'll wait a few minutes for more people to get in, but in our chat is my lovely colleague Emma. So she'll be hosting our chat today. So if you can start us out by saying where you're joining from. I personally am hosting this, and so is Emma from Prague, Czech Republic. So I see a good morning here. It is very much evening for us. So from Prague, Czech Republic is where we're hosting, but as you can probably tell from my accent, I'm very much from Pennsylvania. So I'm from the States and I live in Prague. And so does Emma. She's also from Ohio. But we'd love to hear where you're joining us from and if you've used Daytrip before. Amazing. I see Mexico. I see someone used, oh, that was Emma in Albania. Absolutely. Hi from Philadelphia. Hello, hello. I am from Pittsburgh, so can't say I really agree with the Philly thing, but thank you for joining us today. All right, so maybe I'll go ahead and get started. Emma, what do you think? Wait a
Yes,
few
I
more
can kick
minutes?
us off. Yeah, I
Okay,
think
cool.
people will continue to join, but I'll let them in. So you are all set to
Cool.
go ahead.
Sounds good. All right, everyone. As I said, thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Sarah Guido, and I'm the B2B marketing specialist here at Daytrip. And my lovely job is to create community with our travel agent community here at Daytrip. So today, our webinar is going to be focused on East Asia in Bloom. So hopefully, we can all learn something together about Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan, and how Daytrip can make this all easier for you guys. So to get started, who is Daytrip? So we are a door-to-door private car transfer company, and we actually operate across 130 plus countries. So we're on 6 continents out of the 7. We do not operate in Antarctica yet because we don't have penguins as drivers yet, but maybe in the future. But we are able to do all of our amazing transfers because of our network of 11,000 plus English vetted speaking drivers. So everyone speaks English, and that is a pillar of our service, is that you can always be guaranteed to have English speaking service and friendly drivers. Our service is really customizable. It can be anywhere from 20 to 300-mile long. And the best thing for you guys as our travel agents is that our customer support really is 24/7. So if you're sleeping in the States, somewhere in Pennsylvania, you're sleeping and your client is halfway around the world, if they have an issue, if they have a question, or they just need to get something clarified, they can always talk to a real person on the phone, through chat, like through WhatsApp or text, or through email to our customer service team. They are truly 24/7. So we have an office here in Prague and also in Mexico. And then, so here's an overview of what our services are. We have 4 different types of services. So our first is private car transfers. So this is point A to B of car transfers in a private car, always air conditioned with an English speaking driver. And what really sets Day Trip apart is our option to add optional sightseeing stops. So we are different than other transfer companies because we have an algorithm and a really expert and amazing team who curates stops along the way for your inner city transfers or city to city transfers for your clients to get more experience out of their time. So, for example, if they're going from Prague to Vienna, but don't want to fly or take a really fast train to bypass all the stops, they can add our optional sightseeing stops and see more with their time. So another one of our features is our day trips, which is, similar to our name, but it truly is an excursion. So it's a day trip with a private driver. So our driver won't be a guide, but they will take you from point to point on this curated itinerary for your clients to have a round trip experience and then end up in their starting city wherever they want after. And then we also have a really cool feature of chauffeur by the hour. So this is a private driver by the hour that you can hire for a duration from anywhere from 2 hours all the way up to 14 hours. So this is our amazing English speaking vetted drivers, but all at your client's disposal. And then moving on, something else that is really important to us is our drivers. So not everyone can just sign up to be a day trip driver. So they go through a thorough vetting process to make sure that we would trust them with our families and you can trust your clients with them. So it all starts with a one-on-one interview with the regional supply manager. So we have day trip team members all over the world who meet with our potential drivers, and they kind of do a vibe check at first. And then we do a day trip driver background and car safety check. So the day trip standard is that a car cannot be manufactured more than 10 years prior. And as you'll see later, we have a luxury service where they cannot be manufactured more than 5 years. And then after they pass the background and car safety checks, we have our day trip customer service training, which is really important for us because not everyone can be a day trip driver. It's really important for our drivers to offer insights along the way because they are locals, they are from the region, and they know where to direct their clients to take their stops for lunch or what to see that's really cool. And then after that is approval. And this is not just a done thing. So once a driver is approved, this is a continuous process. We really, really value feedback, and our customer support team is really in contact with our drivers. So we really monitor what our clients are saying and especially what our travel agents are saying. So it's really important if we hear something that's not the best to reevaluate our partnership with this driver and to make sure our service is top tier for you guys. So, to move on to our content for today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan and the cherry blossoms that are in them. So, first, are cherry blossoms that you need to know. So, here's the first question. Why are cherry blossoms that special in Asia? I had to ask myself when I was thinking about this topic because I feel like either Washington, D.C. or Japan, you hear about cherry blossoms, but why are they so popular in East Asia? They're actually native to this region and specifically the northern hemisphere because they're really sensitive to temperatures and just shifts in weather. So it's good in the northern hemisphere for the springtime. And also, they're specifically in Asia so significant because they also represent transience of life. So blossoms only bloom for 1 to 2 weeks max. So they're really beautiful, they're gorgeous, amazing, but they don't last for long. So that really asks the culture in Asia to like really appreciate the fleeting essence of life. So this is really interesting and it asks us to slow down, take a minute, and admire these petals while they're here. And like I said, the bloom times really shift depending on the weather. So unfortunately, as things are getting warmer and warmer, blooms happen earlier and earlier. So it can be an approximation. You can look up like weather approximations of when months and what specific weeks this will happen, the peak blooms, but it's really dependent on to what's happening those days. So because they are quite unpredictable, my recommendation to you guys is to not sell blossoms as one total experience. So there can be a lot of pressure on travel agents if you're selling a specific travel or a specific travel for cherry blossoms itinerary. But what happens if you need to book these flights 6 months in advance, 4 months in advance? You book them for these days, and then the peak blossoms have passed or they're not there yet. So I would say to sell it as a vibe, as an experience of spring, and I'm going to teach you guys some helpful tips to start matching clients to the good destination, the ideal spring destination, rather than specific bloom places. And to go along with this, it's really important to maybe leave 2 to 3 days flexible in your itineraries to shift to peak blooms. So if you know your clients want to be in South Korea, but you don't know exactly when the peak blooms are going to be, you could leave a couple of days free to really leave it open, have, itinerary ideas for your clients, and then they can choose what they think is best when they're there. So let's move on to talk about some Japan. So let's be honest, whenever I was thinking about this, and maybe you guys too, when we think cherry blossoms, we think Japan. It is so, so, so popular and has really become a sensation in Japan. They're an unofficial symbol of Japan, as I saw. So the blooms are from late March to early April. And like I said before, this idea of transience of life, of appreciation of life, of cherry blossoms, really comes from the Shinto and Buddhist culture of Japan. So those are both religions, but Japan has now shifted towards it being more of a cultural lifestyle. And this is represented in the Japanese belief of mono no awari, which is basically the pathos of things. So it's like the emotions related to things or events or times and people. So it's saying to draw attention to these things that are fleeting and to passing. And I think it's really interesting. We live in a really fast-paced world, and it's hard to slow down sometimes, especially with social media, and especially with these places that are so photogenic. It can be really easy to get caught up in the pictures of it all. But this really draws attention to slow down, stop, and have a minute. And then for inner city transport, it's really interesting. They have a Suica platform that is used for all of their transport. And some takeaways, I know I experienced this when I was in Japan, but if you're looking for really local food spots, Google Maps does work in Japan, but it doesn't really have the best local recommendations. So Tabelog is an app. It's very in Japanese, but they have a website that's in English. It is really helpful. It's really, really highly used by the public in Japan. It's really local, so it helps you find some really good food spots, like some alleyway ramen that might not be on Google Maps because it's not really catered towards tourists. So, as I'm going to talk about in this webinar, how does Japan really feel? So, what is the feeling of Japan that you could match with your clients? I would say for Japan, it's rituals and reverence. So, they practice it through hanami, which is the word han means flower, and then nami means viewing. So, this basically just means flower viewing picnics. So it's a shared cultural moment. And this is really, as you can see in the picture here, everyone takes to the city streets. It doesn't matter if it's really popular place along, just a street, but everyone really has traditional foods. And they all practice it by, getting together with friends and family and fun food and just taking the time to gaze and look at these flowers. So Japan offers the opportunity for really big cities with the giant capital of Tokyo and also quiet rituals. So something that's really, admirable about Japan as a travel destination is that they really hold to tradition. So these temples, these Shinto or Buddhist temples, really hold to traditions of quietness and allowing rituals to happen. So it's really interesting to be a witness of that in this time. And with Japan comes high demands, crowds, and expectations. Because we all think of Japan as the place for cherry blossoms, it can be kind of pressure, a lot of pressure in the afternoons and at night. So this is best for clients who value tradition and also don't mind structure, because while it might be have a lot of tourists, it might be perfect for clients who are good with waking up early and really packing their day with stuff. So my recommendation to use Daytrip to really make this a good experience for your clients. Um, Japan has amazing public transit, so I really recommend to use Daytrip from Tokyo to another place to have a city break, but then also return to the client's hotel so they can keep experiencing Tokyo. So I recommend Nikko, which is a UNESCO shrine complex. It's nestled in the mountains and it's really interesting and beautiful. And then also on this pre-built itinerary, our day trip will take you with our private driver to this river. It looks beautiful. It's blanketed by cherry blossoms, and you could even take this boat ride to really immerse yourself and have hanami on the water. So let's continue with South Korea. So here we are. Our essentials are South Korea was actually a colony of Japan for 35 years. So a lot of their cherry blossom traditions are really influenced by Japanese culture. So they also have hanami and just the overall appreciation for beauty in life. So they are Buddhist there. And then the transport that South Korea has is high-speed trains, metros, and buses, some of the best in the world. But unfortunately, Google Maps does not work in South Korea. So this could be a really big curveball. I mean, I personally have traveled a lot of places and I have never encountered a place where there's no Google Maps. But they do have local maps that use, their local data that they don't want to give to Google. So we recommend Naver Maps or Kakao Map that's used by all locals and it is English friendly. But similarly, it is very Korean, so it can be sometimes difficult to communicate in English, especially with transport or like locally. So one of my colleagues actually lived in South Korea for 6 months, and she said one of her takeaways was it can be really hard to communicate in English. She expected a little bit more English, and it can be confusing to get around. So for your clients who really want to explore, but you don't want to get them into, some pickles where they don't know where to go or who to speak to, we really recommend Daytrip for our English speaking drivers who can take them no fuss from point A to point B. And South Korea is quite small. For our American viewers, I looked it up. South Korea is actually the size of Indiana. So it is quite small as a whole country, so you can see a lot, but that means that timing for cherry blossoms is really important. So here from late March to mid-April is really the golden window. And then, for example, Seoul is the first week of April for our cherry blossoms. So how does South Korea feel? I would say it's urban energy and celebration. So blossoms are more woven into city life. It's how they're everywhere. It's how people experience it. And similarly, They also are celebrated with hanami from our Japanese idea. So they also have king cherry blossoms, which, if you are familiar with the geography of South Korea, Jeju Island is off of the south coast of South Korea. It's really popular for South Koreans to go to as a vacation spot. It's really beautiful. And it also is the home and native place of king cherry blossoms. You can see on the right here, king cherry blossoms are neon pink. They're beautiful and also have like double the volume that normal cherry blossoms have. Because if we think of a cherry blossom, it's very pale pink, has the red center, but this looks very distinctive and very unique to South Korea. And Korea has a very excellent food and nightlife and just has a really young vibe. And if your people are fitness obsessed, on April 4th this year, this is their 33rd year of it, but this city, Gyeongju, is actually having a cherry blossom marathon. So if any of your clients are really fitness freaks and want to go run under these cherry blossoms, I recommend this city. It's really interesting. There's also a 10K and a half, but something really cool that I found. So like I said, it could be great fit for clients who has a feeling of young energy, maybe couples, and people who are looking for a mix of culture and like modernness because it's very modern, and just has a lot of variation in it. So I would love to highlight one of our features. So this is our point-to-point car transfer. So for example, Busan is a city in the south of South Korea. It has beaches and it's really cool. It has the city right up to the water, and it's a really popular destination to travel outside of Seoul. So if you're in Busan and then you want to go to run that marathon, so you could take a J-trip transfer from point A to point B, but you can make it an even better experience adding optional sightseeing stops. So our algorithm will recommend interesting stops along the way. So for example, there are two different options for temples that you can see along the way. And you can change the duration, you customize it all yourself, but these are, for example, if you don't know the place very well, if you've never been to South Korea and your client really wants to go there, but you want to give them a better experience, a more enhanced experience, our algorithm will enhance it with recommended sightseeing stops. So you can add a stop and it updates the price and updates your length of your itinerary. And then it still takes you to your point B. And now to move on to our final destination, I will chat about Taiwan. So Taiwan is really interesting, and I feel like maybe it's a little bit underground. So actually, it was also a colony of Japan. It was a colony of Japan for actually 50 years. So one of my colleagues is actually from Taiwan. I had a really great chat with her about cherry blossom season, and she said that yet again, a lot of their culture of cherry blossoms is influenced from the Japanese. So similarly with Hanami, picnics, really fun, spring-themed food. I know that Starbucks in these places releases like a Sakura cherry blossom frappuccino, and it goes really popular, of course, on social media. But Taiwan is actually a really small country, right off the coast of China, so it's really easy to see a lot. They also have high-speed trains as transport, metros, and buses, and their geography is really significant. As you can see here, on the right in this picture, there's Taipei 101, which is the highest structure in Taiwan. And this is a massive skyscraper. And then right behind it is these beautiful mountains. And then to the left of it is the actual city. And then, probably just a little bit farther from that is the sea. So Taiwan has subtropical and then tropical right below it. So there's really a mix of everything for your clients. If it's their first time traveling to a place like this is where you can see a lot of variety. And this point out here, cash is still really important in Taiwan. I recommend to carry cash for these really famous night markets and the small vendors that are all over Taiwan. And then also there's a giant mountain range that runs through the middle of the island of Taiwan. So this makes it have one of the longest cherry blossom sakura seasons because of all of the altitude changes. So how does Taiwan feel? Here's a look of Taipei. I would say it's nature and flexibility. It's less crowded, kind of because it's underground for cherry blossoms. But interestingly enough, Taiwan has cherry blossoms, Thailand and India has cherry blossoms. So if you're looking for something less on the, really popular Japan route, I suggest Taiwan or one of those similar places. So it's less crowded, more spontaneous viewing, and then blossoms are more integrated with their hot springs that Taiwan is really known for, their tea culture, and this is a really good place for people who love nature and being outdoors. So people who really like to go hiking, you can be in the city, and within a couple hours, you can be in the mountains. And as I said earlier, I don't know if you guys saw on Netflix, there was actually a documentary or live stream about a free solo climber who actually climbed Taipei 101. This is a like 101 story skyscraper that Alex Honnold, an American climber, actually climbed with no ropes, no harness, anything, and it's super interesting. So it gives a really good feeling of Taipei and just the geography of it. But I thought that that was really interesting, and I watched it recently. It was a really big deal. So I would say to match Taiwan with clients who really want spring scenery without the pressure of Japan or the really high intensity environment. All right, so then with day trip, I would recommend you go from Taipei and take a transfer to Kenting National Park. Here's a picture off the road driving to Kenting. At this point A to point B transfer will, of course, it's not the high-speed train, so it's going to take a little bit longer, but only 3 hours. But you're going to get to see all the winding roads with these spontaneous cherry blossoms. If you're in the high-speed train, you're going past all of this beauty. So why not go with a day trip driver, take the longer route and get a little bit of scenery along the way. So my takeaway from this whole idea of cherry blossoms is for you guys as travel advisors, to reframe your conversations from bloom hunting from the peak to experience matching. And this is also just really helpful with matching East Asian countries for your clients overall. All right, and now I'm going to move on to a demo of our lovely Daytrip product. So here we go. I will start with our Daytrip platform. Go. All right, everyone, here we are. Can you see my Daytrip screen, Emma?
Yes, you are all good.
Okay, cool. All right, so here we go. Now we are brought onto our Daytrip home screen. So super important is to log in first as a Daytrip travel advisor. So here we are. You see, Sarah, I'm already logged in, but I will log out. You press sign in, press I'm a travel agent, and then you log in. And then if you guys aren't signed up with Daytrip yet, Emma's going to put the link to sign up with us in the chat so you guys can go and check it all out and get access to this exclusive travel agent portal yourself. So now, welcome. You are in our brand new renovated travel agent portal. This is super interesting and intuitive for our travel agents. Its whole purpose is to make it easier and more streamlined to book with Daytrip. So here you can see we have our tabs for our three products. We have transfers, by the hour, our chauffeur service, and then also day trips. So I would love to show you around our travel agent portal to get the vibe, get the feeling. Here it shows that I have a 5% discount, but your commercial conditions will probably be different because I am a different kind of travel agent than you. But here we'll scroll through our travel agent portal. So you can see a little overview of your trips. And something that's really nice about this is we have inspiration. So like I said, if you haven't been to the place that you're planning for your clients and you want to see inspirations of routes that they can go on and anything else, we have our inspiration here with all of our curated trips. And then, like I said earlier, super important for you guys is our 24/7 customer service. So here we have our email, we have the chat button, and we have a UK and US number for your clients or for you as well. But for a little demo of who we are as Daytrip and how to use our platform, I'm going to show you actually something different this time. I'm going to show you guys a day trip. So we're going to start with our booking process, go to our route selector bar and type in your desired city. So let's start with Tokyo. Go to Tokyo and press search. And here we are. Brings you to our lovely day trip page. You can see all of these places in Tokyo, these day trips outside of Tokyo, really optimized for cherry blossom season. So our amazing content team did a really good job of showing us what we have to offer in Japan. So here we are. And then I'm actually going to choose one that shows Mount Fuji. So it brings us to this page. And here we are. It highlights that our itinerary is 8 hours round trip with a private driver. So here you can see the total price, and then it shows the per person price. But we'll go through and it shows you a brief overview of what you can expect. All of our day trips always have the pickup stop as wherever you are. So wherever your clients are, you can set the location there, and I'll show you that in the booking process as well. But our day trips are perfect for clients to explore at their own pace because you have freedom to explore wherever they are in the time that they want. You can change the duration of the stops along the way. And it's really perfect for private groups and for people with kids, or if your clients have luggage with them or mobility aids, something like that. So here you can see all of our cars come with our English speaking drivers, personalized pickup and drop offs, and also they come with complimentary water. And then down here, we'll see that our service is actually linked with Google Maps. So you can see it in an interactive map here. I'm going to show you a breakdown with beautiful photos and more information. And then here, so we decide, yes, we want to do this one. Let's go see Mount Fuji with some cherry blossoms. So just like our other options on our service, you can update the departure dates and the times. So here I'll go a little bit in advance, or wait, let's stay within cherry blossom season. Let's go mid-April on April 16th. And then you can change your departure time within 15 minutes. So it's really specific. You can go really early in the morning or a little bit midday, but since this is an 8-hour itinerary, let's start a little bit early. Let's go for 9:30 a.m. Here we go. And then really important for us is to mark how many adults and how many children. So this trip is going to have 2 adults and 1 child because included in our service, which is great for our travelers, is a free car seat to add on. So make sure you add your child here and then you'll add it later. So here we are. We'll press book now and it'll take us to our next page. So here you can see your travel agent information already populates because you're logged into your travel agent portal, which is the most important. So then we'll scroll down and we'll add in our contact information. For this booking, I will go for Emma. Emma is traveling, and you can add her phone number. And then it is also optional to include your client's email address. So you can press this, it'll always remind you. Here, the emails that are sent here are just a trip reminder with the driver specifics and vehicle details, plus a tracking link, or helpful updates. They never receive any pricing or commission details. But this is optional. If you guys don't want your clients to receive any communication, you want it to go through you, that is also perfectly fine. So here we are, you select your lead passengers over 18, and then we scroll down, and like I said earlier, you can select if you have a child seat or not. So here we are, and then Emma is traveling with her 6-year-old, and so she needs a booster seat with a high back. Here we go, we'll select that. And then something that's really great about our booking flow is that you can add if you have special requirements. So here, I have a wheelchair. So the customer service and our driver will know if you have a special requirement. It could be anything from, like I typed in, a mobility aid, or if you're traveling with a pet, which is also one of our services. So now, like I said, you can edit your pickup and drop off location. So this is starting from Tokyo, but it is really specific to wherever your clients are. If you want them to be picked up from a breakfast or brunch spot that they're having, or if they're getting boba tea somewhere, you can have them picked up from that location, go, and then the drop off location will also be edited. So now, something that is really great for our travel agents is that we have the options of paying now, which you'll pay with a credit card, kind of like any other purchase, and it confirms it immediately. Or we have the option for our reserved bookings, which we listened to you guys, and now we have reserve now, pay later, which basically, if you click this, it will reserve your route and you don't have to make a payment until 48 hours before. So we have auto cancellation of 48 hours before our reserved payments or reserved bookings. But this is great if you're still wanting to discuss with your clients, if you're still figuring out an itinerary, and you want to take a minute and then save time for yourself later. You can input all of these potential routes and then discuss it with your client, think about it, and then you confirm it and deny or cancel it later. And then also I want to draw attention to on the right, you get a whole summary of what your day trip is. This is how it looks for all of our routes. So if it's a transfer or a driver by the hour, you can also see that the original price is in euros, and then my discount of 5% off takes it off. And then that would be the total for how to go through our booking. And then I want to show you here, if we go back to our Daytrip home, and then I'll go back to my portal. You can edit, manage, and create all bookings within our travel agent portal, which is super nice for you guys. So you can go over here to press manage bookings. You can see a breakdown of confirmed or reserved bookings. But I think I'm going to switch back to our presentation now, and we will see if there are any questions from Emma in the chat.
Yes, thank you. The chat has been very active.
Woo!
I have been going through and trying to answer them in the moment because I know you guys are very demanding. You want your answers. So maybe it would be helpful though to pick a couple of them just so that like in case people weren't looking in the chat and then for anybody who is watching the recording that they can hear some of the questions. There was one asking if we can do transfers for larger groups. So our largest vehicle size is for 7 passengers, but it's super easy to book multiple vehicles to accommodate your group. Actually, after I saw this question about a group transfer in October for Japan. I went onto our website to see, and this person said that there were 16 passengers. And so I just set the passenger number on our website as 16, and it basically was like, okay, here are your options for how you can book it. So it could be like a van combo with a few different things. It could be two vans and then maybe a sedan. So you can see what the options are. In case you need a little bit of extra attention, we are also happy to help. You'll see right now in your travel agent portal, there is actually a section for group bookings. So you can also email that email and they'll be happy to help you out with these larger group bookings. So that's totally fine. You can also email our regular support team and they are happy to help you all the time. Of course, Sarah and I are also here for any questions that you have. We are happy to help out, but that's also a great option for you. So you can see that right in your portal. Someone also mentioned like saying that they got an email about the new portal and that they were kind of wondering what was new. So I'm hoping that maybe by seeing Sarah run through it a little bit, that did help. But basically, we heard you guys. Like we are constantly trying to update our product and make sure it's really exactly what you need. So with the new portal, we have the booking engine right there for you at your fingertips. You can do your custom routes, you can do all of your different transfers, one way, return, multi-city, your day trips, and your by the hour service right there in the portal. So it's really nice. The trip management section is a little bit different. And also we recently reserved or we recently launched the reserved feature as well. So everything is right there on the portal just to kind of make it a little bit more streamlined. We're also going to be adding stuff as there are different like exciting blog posts, newsletters that's going to come down the road. So it's basically just going to be sort of like your actual booking place as well as your trip inspiration because like of course we're here to help you with your transfers, but we also love travel ourselves. So we just want to be able to share all of the tips that we have. So that's all going to be located in your portal down the road. There's going to be new stuff popping up. And as I have been like rambling on, a couple more questions have come in. So I'm going to look at those. So Barbara is asking if we can change the currency at the payment section. That is a very good question. Sarah, are you able actually to go back to the portal? Because maybe
Yeah,
we can just show them.
absolutely. Yeah, one
I
second.
think that that's like the best way to do it.
Mm-mm.
And so when we go back to the portal, oops,
Oops.
surprise. Oh, secret. Your guys are getting spoiled.
Surprise. Oopsie.
Okay,
All
so
right,
we
we'll go
go
back to
back
our
to our
portal.
website and I can show you exactly where it is. I think the trip should be like ready to go, and then we can see. Yeah, so if you go back to your travel agent portal,
There we go.
and then yeah, we
Load
could
it
just do a
in.
day trip. And so basically, once you go through and you will select the day trip type that you want, you go through all good there. You'll see up there at the very top of the page in the top right, that's how you can change the currency. It's important to note, though, that this is just to display it. This is not going to change the currency that the trip is charged in. This is just for purposes of kind of being able to better understand what the amount is. But when the transaction actually goes through, it depends on where the trip is located. So if you are booking a trip in Tokyo, it's going to be charged in USD. Any trip outside of Europe essentially is going to be charged in USD. If it's taking place inside of Europe, it's going to be charged in euros. So that is just an important thing to keep in mind. But you can totally change it just so you can quote it better for your clients. You can save that bad boy. And then once you have everything confirmed with your clients, you can go back into the portal and confirm your reserve trip. Um, Okay, yes, amazing. So we also have someone in the chat who's not asking a question, but giving a very nice comment that she has two vans in Japan in March, all day sightseeing from Cruiseport to somewhere. I don't know what HND stands for. That's on me. With every stop possible. So amazing. Like
Woo.
this is why I love it. I love these chats. It's just nice to kind of like hear the real-time stories from everybody. So totally, we are happy to help you. The thing with Daytrip that's really cool is that everything is right at your fingertips. Like you don't have to wait for us to give you a quote in most cases. If it's something super specific, you have a super specific stop maybe that you're adding. It might take like 24 hours for our support team to get back to you with the quote. But for the most part, you just go onto the site, you type your pickup place, you type your destination, and our website will give you the quote immediately. You don't really have to wait around. So if you're ever like, oh, I wonder, oh yes, okay, I got my airport, I got my answer that HND is the airport. Amazing. But if you're ever wondering, like, oh, I wonder if Daytrip can do this, just go on our site and check. Like, there's a very good chance that we can help you out with it. Sometimes I do it myself just to see, like, wow, we really do work in a lot of places. So that's just a really fantastic option for you guys. And I think that was really the last question that came in. I answered the other ones in the chat. If anyone else has other questions, I know Sarah has a couple more slides, so you can keep the questions coming, and then either I'll answer them in the chat, or if it's like something super pressing, I might interrupt her. But I think I'll just stick in the chat and turn it right back over to you, Sarah.
Okay, sounds good. Um, so here's our Q&A. And Emma, do we want to go through any of our questions that were sent in before, do you think?
Let me take a look. I think sometimes these can be kind of helpful just to like be a refresher of the different things that we offer. So we did touch on the first one, whether all bookings require full payment at the time of booking, and we do have a reserved option now, so the answer is no. I think it's nice to talk about last minute bookings because that is actually something where we're super strong. I've been seeing a lot of last minute bookings coming through. The important thing about these last minute bookings is that you can actually just try to go through and book it on our website. If it's saying like you're not able to book it, you can always call or email our support team. Calling, of course, is faster, so I would call our support team. They will help you figure out if it's possible for us to accommodate the trip. And in many cases, we can accommodate last minute bookings. So if you're ever like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to do this, definitely see if we can help out with that. And then I think maybe one more question that might be helpful. We've talked a lot about our sightseeing stops and how Daytrip is super flexible and customizable. And part of that flexibility is that this question says, what if I cannot find a certain route or desired stop? We have a custom route form, which is part of the booking engine when you're on your travel agent portal. There's like a little thing that says request a custom route. So, of course, if that's what you're trying to do, you'll click the little button and then you'll be able to go through the form, request exactly the route to your needs. That means you can stop at a grocery store, you can stop wherever it may be, have your clients stop wherever they want to stop, and our support team will create your custom route for you. So if you're not able to book it directly on our website, we can still usually accommodate. So I just wanted to answer that question. But I think everything else you covered, so that is great. And I think we can move along.
Cool. All right, so as you guys got a little sneak peek of before, but we actually do have a travel agent Facebook group. So similar, my lovely role here at Daytrip is to really foster community with our travel agents. So one way we do it is through our monthly webinars. These happen every month. And then we also have our travel agent Facebook group. So you can see my face over here, but I post some talking videos about relevant things, discussions between travel agents, Daytrip updates, and more. So Emma's going to put the link to register and sign up for our travel agent Facebook group. I really invite you all to join and join in on the fun. But other than that, I thank you all for joining. This was fantastic. Get to discover East Asia with all you, and Emma will let me know if there's any more questions in our chat.
I think we are good for now. There's one more that I'll just go ahead and answer in the chat, but I think you are all set here.
Okay, cool. All right, well, thank you guys so much. This is actually my first opportunity to host one of our webinars. It was a really great experience. I look forward to seeing you guys next month. And I look forward to seeing all of the ways your clients are going to explore East Asia. So thank you. See you soon. Bye bye.